Add me to the stage, buddy. Well, I think we're here. At least I'm here. We are trying something new tonight, so I apologize right up front. If anything goes crazy or wonky, just jump back on. You know what I mean? Like relook for it because it hopefully, yeah, it's a little crazy. It's all good. It's all good. We're waiting for hopefully Papa Tony's going to come out. We're going to see if we can bring him in to this. So this is all new to me. I'm glad he's willing to be a guinea pig. So I seen the comments were lighting up here, so I figured I'd jump on to test it out. So I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody had a good weekend. As always, for the most part, you guys are more than welcome to ask any questions through the live stream, business related, garage doors, problems you're seeing. I love all that kind of stuff. So does Papa Tony. We love seeing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, let us know any kind of openers, LiftMaster, Genies, Chamberlain, Craftsman. Have you installed anything? Are you having any kind of problems? Anything like that. I see Rich B was in the house here. He says no video. Like I said, that's why I commented on there because all of a sudden I'm sitting here playing around with this and I see comments and I'm thinking, are these old comments? Like, what's going on here? Like, where's these coming from? And then I went into mine. I found it. I'm sorry. I think I had 2 other launches. Was having a little bit of difficulties. So let's throw them up here. Because what's nice about this software is I like that you can have the comments on the screen. Because what I've noticed, just unless correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm wrong on a lot of things. I don't see the comments. That's kind of a bummer, right? When you go back and look at a live stream, I don't see the comments. And you guys always have really good comments and questions and input and all that. And I like that it can be on there on the live stream. So it's nice to be able to see them. Very specific time to go live. What's up, Evan? Hope you're doing good. What's new? You got anything in the books you're working on coming up? I gotta make sure I check my phone to make sure. Look, we got alarm clock going on there. That's me jumping in. That's why I was like, how did you guys get here? I didn't even think it was broadcasting anything yet, but obviously I'm learning. No video. Then I made myself go blank for a second there. How embarrassing. I didn't add myself. All these things to learn. Now I see why those video editors and all that, man, they get paid the big bucks because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. So my description is upcoming. Correct. Now we just got to get the countdown. I hate when they do a really, really long countdown, like an hour countdown or something. That's always a bummer. I see Rusty's at the bottom there. Rusty's in the house. What's up, Rusty? What you got going, man? How's business? Everything? What you got in the books? You got stuff coming up this week? Busy week? Kind of mellow week? Business Evan, did a head swap this week? Ooh, might have another install this week. Awesome. Evan, do you mind sharing? How did you think you got these leads? Was it referral? Was it word of mouth? Was it did it you think got through like Facebook or Nextdoor? I'm just kind of curious. I was telling somebody the other day, I think I was actually telling Caleb about how Facebook, I think, gets irritated. So there was a couple things I never replied to because they were really like ghetto. And I think it knocked me down, on the old Facebook platform to it doesn't like me that I didn't respond. You know what I mean? Then there was another one. I did another one actually today. I was actually questioning about something and it came back as bogus. Rusty's got Rich B. RB. He's got the cat. You're there now. Awesome. It's good to know. Rusty, he's got what's up, guys? Hope it's all going good. So I'll kick it off a little bit here while we're waiting possibly for Papa Tony. He might have took a nap on us. You never know. I don't blame him. I'm ready for one. But so here's the thing, right? Don't know exactly where the difficulties was, but unfortunately, Mr. Caleb ran into a problem. Ordered some springs offline, and You know what? Guess what? Something went wrong. He needed 225 wire, 2-inch by 24. They sent him 243, right? 243, 243, 2-inch 24. Not sure how that happened. So there was a little code red in there, and he said, he says, will they still work? No, probably not. So luckily I used the Service Spring app. Just did some fun dimensions. I think it was around 60 pounds, give or take. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's a big difference. I was like, you can't do that probably. I'd like to hear from you guys, any of the season guys. What will you allow? I think it's normally like around 10, 20 pounds, maybe, you can have difference. I don't think you want to go over 40. 60, absolutely not. That's just craziness. Ooh, that's a cool background. Rusty's got. What's Rusty got? Says we got service calls scheduled every day and a 12 by 12 that are making into a 14 on Friday. That we are making into a 14. How are you going to do that? You going to stretch it? Do you got the garage door panel stretcher? I knew it. I knew somebody out there had it. I'm just curious. We went through a time things were so crazy. I think you can buy them. If anybody knows, comment. I think it's like 22-foot sections is kind of a common. Maybe it's 24. I can't quite remember. But you can buy those sections pretty inexpensive from the manufacturers typically. I'm not saying all of them. This is Wayne Dalton. And that way you can cut them down. And I tell you what, that sounds kind of entertaining sometimes. Just buy slabs and build your own, because back in the day, at least around in my area, when I used to tear a lot of them out, there was a company, they're out of business now, but it was Muskegon Garage Door. And I'd go across residential and I'd go across commercial, and they all use, I think it was around a 2-inch thick door, I believe, or maybe it was like 1.75 inch. It was somewhere right in that range. But I think it was called the Wayne Mark. If I remember correctly, it wasn't a thermal. It was a Wayne Mark. I thought it was Wayne Mark. And I remember them because they never had end caps on them. So you always seen the foam, and they look pretty ugly, and then the hinges would always start breaking away from the foam, the metal. So I always remember those. But they used them on residential, and they used them also on the commercial, and I thought, man, that's kind of a nice way to, nice universal. I always wondered if they did that, if they ever cut them down. I don't know. Cause that stuff was pretty old. And then, boy, I don't know. It's probably been about 5 or 8 years now since they went out of business. What's up? I see here. Is it I'm not two? What's up, two? I'm gonna call you two. How you doing, man? It's been a while. Hope you're doing good. What's new out there? What are you struggling with? What are you guys seeing out there? You guys having problems with light bulbs? I hate those damn light bulbs. I'm gonna get t-shirts made. Should I get some t-shirts made? I'm gonna have some t-shirts. I start talking about that stuff. Oh, says no, Dave. We are tearing out a 12 by 10, installing a new door. Okay. Subtract framing work and new coil stock out of outside jams. Ooh, nice. I was just talking about it the other day to a guy, and we were talking about that signature stuff again. You know what I mean? And I tell you, it's just one of those things I cannot stress it enough about having signatures. I remember that builder, they're going to bust a hole in the wall, right? And, Cap goes out there, and it's like, it's supposed to be a 10 by 10. I think they ended up changing it to like a 10 by 8 or 10 by 9. We didn't know that, right? Guys go out there to install it. It's not right. Cap calls me. He's like, man, they've got a problem, man. I'm like, Okay. I was like, what's up? And he tells me what's going on. And I said, did you get a signature? Oh yeah, but hey, present it to him, show it to him. You know what I mean? Because there ain't nothing we can do about it. Is what it is. We'll fix it like we always do. Dun, 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 dun. Got to good be back in an hour. All right, gotta go. Be back in an hour. We'll see you in a few, Rich. Hopefully it's simple and easy. Maybe he's gonna go out and get some food. Some food sounds good. It says, oh, it's just human error. Companies don't give proper training how to use their doors and docks right. Callback. It gets funny. Yeah, man, those dock plates are tough. I kind of like to know what your guys' thoughts are on what do you think about the whole dock plates and so it'd be like stock plates and those full vertical doors. We had a lot of problems with that, and I still kind of struggle with thinking which ones are the best. Um, you know what I mean? Like, is it better to have an opener on it, or is it better to be hand operated? Because the problem with those dock doors is I've seen a lot of people smash them on the ground. You know what I mean? They just tear the bottom panels up, smushed, man, like, just like a sandwich and you sat on it, in a paper bag. And but then you put operators on it, and if they don't have those dock plates all the way down, they'll throw the cables. And I always wanted to, I don't know if there's something out there, if somebody's seen something. If you have, email me, send it to me. But I've actually taken it and thought, well, if you put a sensor on it, like they should correlate, like an interlock. That way, if that dock plate isn't all the way down, they can't close that door. And I guess in a perfect world, right, you'd have a disconnect and you'd also have a chain fall, so they could at least get the door down to close it for the night, um, so it wouldn't be too problematic. But that's always been a weird, like I've always, I never had that super confidence where like when I was talking to the people that own the buildings or the maintenance guy and that, and I'd be like, they because people are weird with doors, man. I've watched when I've walked past employees in big warehouses, I mean, watching them run those doors. That's why, a lot of guys that work with me, they think I'm crazy, right? I'll get the door kind of moving, right? I'll get it moving, right? It's feeling good. And then I give her the old hee ho. I let that thing go flying, and they're like, what are you doing? I said, that's what the employee's going to do. I said, so we got to make sure it's going to hold up. So it hits the springs and bounces off and that, I ended up putting one time one, they were so bad about it. I ended up putting, I've done it all different ways. I've actually put kickers, to the wall with angle iron. I put them just straight across in a sense, almost like the door can't send through the bumpers and all that. It's almost like a cage, right? So it's at least in the cage. It can't, those top brackets can't expand. I don't know what they're feeding those people, but man, they got some serious Wheaties. Because man, I've seen them do a lot of crazy things, and so that's why sometimes I'm always like, if they just had a button to push, but it's added cost. They'll throw the cables off. They always find a way. Dave, did you do profit and loss statements for the year? Do any of your other guys do that? He says, I got mine back and sold less and made more. Yes. No, I don't really check that anymore. That's kind of handed with like the accountant. Um, but I know exactly the feeling because I easily, which I'm glad Rusty brought this up because this is a good point because it's I think the way I'm going to coin the phrase is called it's going to be the contractor vortex. Um, because I think it goes for a lot of contractors. And I think what happens is you can get into this like weird phenomenon that because I did it, and it's almost like you start thinking, well, if I buy that new scissor lift and I buy that, you're always, it's like, I don't know, it's like pleasure, right? It's almost like fun to like go buy that stuff, right? But you're drowning yourself is what you don't realize. But anywho, basically, so what I've done is, quite a few moons ago, right? Many years ago, did over $1 million sales, man. Just top dog, dude, top dog. And I remember that was the year, right? That was the year I had like 7 guys under me. Um, and we had, secretaries and people. And I remember it was like, I had to pay taxes on 30,000, only had 16 in the bank, did over a million in annual sales. And when you start looking at that, right, you look at it and go, oh, here's my vendor, right? Because the more you do sales, right, the vendors are getting paid because you got to buy product. So you got the vendors. Then I can't remember which exactly was next, but it was like, I think it was like vendors, payroll, uh, fuel is right up there. Maintenance on vehicle is right up there. And then there's all the rest, your utilities and lights and everything starts kind of breaking down, but I remember thinking to myself, I go, damn, I go, yeah, the vendors made out good. You know what I mean? And obviously they got their own problems, but when you look at it and you go, I paid them whatever, 300, 400, whatever the number is, thousands of dollars. And you're left. And I learned this from another guy about actually doing less and actually making more. And that's why sometimes I still come across a lot of business people that I talk to. And what they'll do is I don't have nothing against it, right? It's just a common thing, right? It's kind of like saying, how's the weather up there? But I see a common trend where people will do this whole like, are you busy? Are you busy? Oh God, we're swamped. We are so freaking swamped, and I look back now and I reflect at that totally different now. And I look at that and I tell myself, I go, I don't want to be busy. I want to be profitable. That's the key. Because I know the one guy that did the fence company, he was buried and he had, I don't know, 6 guys or something, right? And same kind of thing, though. Always you busy, and good salesman. Good, he was a good dude, good dude. But I started thinking, I thought, I think this dude's like burning himself out. Well, what I thought came true. And he ended up he sold the business or walked away in a sense. He don't run anymore. He's down in Florida. And he just does his own, I don't even know what he does now. And I've seen that with two other business places. So, but yes, so sometimes it's amazing because that's why I call it the contractor vortex, because you don't realize it's kind of like this whole inflation, right? This inflation, the hidden tax. This whole thing is going on and you don't realize the harder you're working, the more you're spending. Oh, no, you're driving more. You're going to go get more material. You're buying more stuff, right? Everything you buy cost you somehow. You buy a power tool, came out of your pocket, right? Somebody going to steal it? Somebody going to lose it? Somebody going to use it and abuse it? Is it going to get dropped and wrecked the first day? I've had it happen. You buy that equipment. So it's a very, stuff can get eaten up real fast. Got a buddy that's a roofer. I think he's into it now a year or two, maybe. Good dude. He's like, I'm telling my wife, he goes, I don't know where the money is. Like, where's the money going? He's like, I work to sun up to sundown. He's like, I bought my truck. He bought a brand new, big Cummins truck, said it had 50,000 miles on it. He goes, it got 110 on it now, or 111. Sorry. Got to watch that. Got to watch that because that's all the stuff that you don't account for. The interlock. That's what 2 says. I know. If you ever come across one, you see one, email me, send me a text. I'd like to see one that's interlocked. I don't know how you quite do it. I'm pretty sure you could do it. I just never spent the time to do it because I was like, who's going to pay me to do it? And then where do you put it? Like, do you put it underneath the dock plate, run the wires, all that kind of stuff? That whole area, right? Especially up in Michigan, gets real fuzzy, because We have salt and crazy truck drivers, and people like to smash in a thing, and crazy forklift drivers, and you just name it. We got it. I always tell people, get your PM. He says, get them springs adjusted. Spring bound is a pain. He says, on the butt. So this is a very good point too. So this is very good actually. Um, Preventative maintenance. I really do believe preventative maintenance, especially in the commercial world. I think you could do it with the residential too, but in the commercial world, it is a very must have. I really do agree that you must have. Oh, and I forgot, just wake up the algos. Don't forget, if you're cruising through whatever, don't forget to hit the like button. Just wakes up the algo. YouTube loves it, blah, blah, blah. It stimulates them, makes them millions of dollars. Not me, them. But we like more like-minded people. So it's just one click. Thank you. So anywho, but the PMs, right? I've noticed a huge change with preventative maintenance when it came to the commercial, and what it also did in the business is it eliminated. I mean, we're talking probably about 80%. I don't know. I don't want to quite maybe say 90, but it was right between 80 and 90% of the Friday 5 o'clock calls, because we used to have one customer, right? His name was Red Dog. That's what they called him. And Red Dog would always call me Friday at 3, 4, 5, sometimes even 8 o'clock at night. And he'd be like, it's Red Dog. Hey, man. He goes, yeah, you can't go a Friday without talking to me. And the guy screwed something up. So when we started doing all the preventative, we eliminated a lot of the broken cables. That's the big ones, right? The broken cables, oil. I mean, you guys know this. How far oil goes with a garage door. I mean, you could take a pretty bad install, even oil that puppy up, and she's good for a year. So just some oil. I mean, it's like amazing to me when you think about it, when you kind of go, it's funny how people will change it, how we're so ingrained. It's getting worse now because cars are going, they want you to go 5,000, 10,000 miles, which I don't recommend on your oil changes, but people still go get their oil changes. They'll get more oil changes done, then they'll get transmission service or rear end or differentials or transfer case, right? But the garage doors, it doesn't even like fathom to them. Like, it's like, yes, you should absolutely once a year have us come through. And the nice thing is, if you're doing preventative maintenance, the nice thing is it's a nice steady cash flow. You don't have to charge, you don't charge that much. You normally don't make that much, right? But it keeps the guys in on a really crappy day, which is nice. It also it gives you work, right? Because you're going in there, you'll make a list of like, hey, we found a cable, we found this. And most time, like those guys are like, they get it, right? Especially if they're big boys, they get it. Stuff wears out. You just get it fixed. I know what this is going to cost me. It's going to cost me an emergency call. It's going to be, they know probably how it is too. It's going to be 5 o'clock on a Friday or on the weekend. So you know how that goes. Hit 47 net profit. Nice. Can't go wrong with that. Up 13 net from last year. Awesome, man. No, that's great. Can't go wrong with that. Take that money, take it to the bank. Two's guy says we did bigger jobs. Had a crew to do installs for docks and other crew doing installs on section, and had a crew doing service all day. Nice. Yep. That's the way to do it. See, I know there's one company, they don't even deal with residential. And I think there is a niche to that, about not doing the residential. Residential can be a pain, but when you're first starting out, residential is great, right? I mean, it's cash flow. It's it gets everything moving for you. But the commercial typically is bigger money, and they don't seem to hold their wallet so tight. I mean, they'll get bids and stuff like that. That's got its own problems, but they typically are willing to spend a little bit more once you're in their system. But this company, I forgot to mention, this company, they don't do residential, right? That's all they want to service the whole back end of the building. That's how they look at it. They want to do their dock plates. They want to do the seals around the doors for semis to back into. They want to do the garage doors. That's how they operate. Maybe you guys have heard of, maybe they're nation. I don't know. Is it Cisco? You guys ever hear of Cisco? Cisco kind of, I think what I've heard is they really focused, their big bread and butter is, scissor lifts, not scissor, sorry, forklifts. So it's kind of like they kind of get in, right? I'll tell you kind of a little funny story why the hotlines are a little quiet right now. And so um so what it was is this one guy, right? His name was Bob. His name was Bob. Bob was a cool dude. I he did forklifts, right? Um, and it's like a sister company to this, right? And so like it's kind of funny because in their company, it's like um the garage door company is actually a write-off. The garage door company is actually what loses money. And so what they'll do is um anyways, he calls me one day and we just see him at, you know how it is, like you see people at jobs, you know what I mean? Like when you're at commercial buildings. And so I just always sparked a relationship with this dude. And he was just a cool dude. And what got me is okay, so I got to step back. So what originally got me is it was close to like, I want to say it was, I don't know if it was wintertime or not, just after winter or after Christmas. I'm sorry. This guy, Bob, calls us, right? And he goes through the secretary. And then I think it went with me. And I thought I was going to get ambushed. I literally brought another guy with me. I was like, I think this is a setup. Like, I think we're going to get like jumped. And what turned out is this guy, he's telling us the company he works for. And he says, yeah, our sister company's this other company. He goes, I won't use them. He says, because they wouldn't go to a commercial customer on Christmas Eve or something like they refused to. And it's a really big customer. And it was funny because when he said that, right, I was thinking, yeah, that's right. I was thinking that customer now we service that customer. So I always wondered why that customer came over to us. And anyway, so we go out to his residential house and he ends up telling us this stuff. And he was a cool dude, but like I like walked in the garage, it was residential, and I'm like doing like the whole waiting for like a bat to knock me over the head or something. Like this just feels wrong. Like you work for another competition. Why are we here? Anyways, he turned out to be a cool dude. So anyways, Bob's working at another place, right? And he calls me up and I'm out cruising around doing service that day. And he's like, hey man, I'm working on this gate operator. And I'm like, Bob, I'm like, why are you working on a gate operator, dude? I'm like, you're a forklift operator, like you're a forklift technician. He's like, yeah. He goes, I know. He goes, but I mean, I'm in a pinch. Can you help me out? And I'm like trying to walk him through it. And I'm like, hey man, I'm like 5-10 minutes away. I'm like, why don't I just cruise over there and see what you got going? He's like, all right, cool, thanks. So I pull in there, and this is actually kind of a customer of ours, right? This customer's like hit and miss with us. We're starting to kind of get in with it a little bit, but it's one of those customers that like their bills kind of are late to come, but they do pay them. But they're normally late, and the secretary's got to get on them and stuff. So it's just one of those kind of weird hit and miss companies. And so I go over there, and I'm like, dude, why are you working on this? And these were two gates that were interlocked, right? There was a railroad crossing in there, and then what the thing was is with the railroad company, they were technically supposed to have these gates closed and then only open for their forklifts, basically. Not for what happens. There's a corner, people kept cutting through there, pedestrians and cars and that. And they're not supposed to do that because there's no sirens there. There's no, nothing to block if there's a train coming through. So it's a liability. And I already looked at this job. I looked at this job like probably a year ago, and I already priced this job. And so I'm like, Bob, what are you doing? Like, and he's like, oh man, he's like, well, the boss man, my boss, he says, dropped the ball and got up. These guys are like almost going to drop us for our forklift account. He's like, so we're trying to make up, so I figured if since I'm here, I'll try to like look at the gate. I'm like, you're not a gate operator, dude, technician. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I can tell you. I said, these things don't communicate. They're junk. I said, we've already gave them a quote to replace them. Oh man, really? I said, hell yeah. I said, you got to go across underneath the railroad tracks. And I said, that ain't us. I said, I ain't digging under no railroad tracks. So we're gonna have to get a boring company out here. I don't even know if that's like federal land. You go to prison for even touching. That's like Indian territory, like Indian taboo ground. And so we did as much as we could. And I told him, I was like, like there ain't much more I can do for you. So anyways, it was just a funny story on how, things lead to another thing. And yes, the joys. Good old Bob. Love bulbs. I got some bulbs. I love the bulbs. Oh, shoot. I see Papa Tony's. He's jumped in. He's over here now. We can bring him in a minute. He jumps. He says, I've taken any owner's draw and use all the extra money to pay off my office and paid off the new building. He said, I'm looking long term. He says, and the guys under 40 in the door, he says, in 40 door would world net need to plan for the future. So something to think about, Rusty. That is great stuff. But here's the thing. One thing you got to remember too. Just think about this for any of you guys out there. You also have to remember that if you ever plan on getting out of the business, right, and get employees and stuff like that, if something ever happens, you got to remember that's the lawyer's going to take that from you. So what I'm saying is you might want to eventually put some kind of loan on it, to expand into something else. Just an idea. It's great, but you know how it is. None of us own our property, right? You all got to pay property tax. So quit paying that and we'll see it all go bye-bye. But that's awesome. You got the money. Like I said, our shop I'm going to tie it up because it's a liability. Right now, we got to change that stuff. Let me see if Papa Tony there. I see you. I'll throw him in here. We'll throw him in here. See if I can bring him up. We're in the wrong business with amount of lube in my truck. Whoa. Hey, mister. How are you?
Pretty good.
Don't touch nothing. You'll screw it up. I already tried. I have no idea how this system really works. I try to play with it a little bit on like your end on my phone, but welcome. We're here.
Yeah. I had to download a app to get in here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. That's my app. So I just got $100. I'm charging you. So what can you see and what can you not see? Can you see these comments and stuff or?
No, it's too small.
Okay.
There's no way I can read that. I've even got it to the bifocals or try.
That's okay. I'll read some of them off. Like I said, just kind of going through what the guys are here. I was waiting for you. So I seen you pop in. So that's awesome. Hey, at least you made it. I was about ready to text you. I thought you were sleeping.
No, I was in a massage chair though for a little bit.
Oh man. See, you should have just stayed there. I wouldn't blame you.
I would.
What does this say? When we in the wrong business with the amount of lube in my truck. Oh man. I think what's two got here? He says, I would like to do more residential in 2025. He said it's like 2% of the business. He says, I love the commercial work. He wants to do more resis. So what you got to do, probably your end, you got a tablet, Papa Tony?
No.
I was gonna say, I see some guys, that's what they use. Like they have their phone and then they use a tablet to look at the tablet.
I'm going to see if I can get the picture a little bigger.
You got it. You're bigger on my end.
There we go.
I'll keep reading some comments here. He says, and my commercial work is low paying because overhead door bids everything at cost just to keep busy. Now, this one's from Rusty, but here's the thing, Rusty. The only thing I wonder about is why can't you do the service? I mean, is overhead doing all the service too? I mean, I know overhead's like over for us too. They typically do like a lot of the big installs. You just can't be, or they got a contract. With these big builders for a certain price. So I think they work off like square footage, and then every year they just negotiate again, or every 3 years. I think that's kind of how it works. Let's check another comment here. Says over here, overhead door, I barely see them. Yeah, it's kind of like in my area too. We don't really have a lot of overhead. Not in this area. They're in the couple cities over in the big city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. They like that area. Change my phone around. And so let's go to another one here. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So Rusty's guy, he says, we own the building and rent it to the business. There you go. That's a little smarter. That's the way to do it.
There we go.
Because like I said, it's weird how like as you start doing business, as you start getting into it, it's, there's a lot of things you start thinking about, the liabilities of things and what the attorneys will come after you for. Rusty's guy, he says, yes, it seems Overhead gets all the service on the doors they installed. That's crazy. That is crazy. And see, it's kind of weird too, because the way I think about it a little bit is, I start thinking about sometimes a lot of the guys that are doing advertising, and I go, in my head, I kind of go, why don't we do much advertising? And I go, well, I mean, for one, we're not trying to like bring in like 2 to 3 or 4 more guys. Oh, I like that cup holder.
You
That
figure,
Uzi.
yeah,
I love it.
Isn't anything.
Yeah. And so, but it's when we're in the commercial, we're locked in. So we that's the only thing I like, that we got a lot of loyal customers. So it works out really good. We don't have to really chase much. There's organic stuff that comes in. So Tony, I had a question for you. On the track for residential.
Yeah.
Can you distinguish? I don't know. And I'm wondering if anybody else can tell us. Can you distinguish 12-inch radius from 15-inch radius by that top flag? You know what I'm talking about? How you like on 12-inch, you can pin it with your end bearing plate. You can pin it, in the kind of the top slot to the bottom slot.
Yeah.
Is that how you can you pretty much guarantee that's a?
No, I don't look at that. No. Now my guess, I'm going to guess I have 12 there.
See, that's what I would call 12, because you can pin it, that bearing plate,
Oh, you got, yeah. Up top.
Yep.
2 spots. I see.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I never noticed that, but I do a lot of 15, and 15 you can't.
Right.
Can't
So that's why, because for me, I like the 12-inch sometimes if it's warranted, because so how it is sometimes, that little kicker where you're going to put a lag in, you'll blow the board apart. You know what I mean? You just know it. Yeah. So either got to pre-drill it or you can't even hit it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been just wondering that if anybody could say for sure, I guarantee it. You know what I mean? Because I've been trying to teach Caleb, and that's just been my opinion, where I always figure those.
I bet you got something there.
Because
you're honest.
When I see pictures, and what I'm trying to do is when I see a picture from a customer, you know what I'm saying?
When I do a lot of Menards,
mm-hmm.
Menards sells 12-inch radius. And it'll nail up like that every time.
Sure.
Every time. I love how it ties together like that.
Sure.
But I'm going to say, you're right.
Okay.
15, it pulls you out of that.
Right.
Yep.
Nope. I've been wondering that, because I seen a picture, and it was one that Caleb sent me, and he goes, and he actually had a print from Menards of the paperwork. And he said, what do you think of this? Because he's learning, and the one last job I did with him, it was a big catastrophic failure in many parts. And so I said, he showed it to me, and I'm looking at it. Well, the only thing I missed, there was a couple things. One, it did have torsion spring on there, but it was only one spring for a 16x7 door. I didn't catch that, but at least it was torsion. But he messaged me, and he's like, hey, he goes, I tore out this door, and the old door had 2 springs on it. He says the new one only has 1. And I said, that's a cost savings. I said, it's not the end of the world. I said, you'll be all right. Well, I mentioned it to him, but I didn't really nail it to him, and said, dude, you need to get back to this customer and tell him to change the track to 15. I said, it's got 12 on it. And I said, the old door is 15. And I didn't send it home. And so anyways, he went to, the door came in, he goes to install it. I mean, it looks like a sled, he's got him. He goes, "Is this going to be okay?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's going to be okay." I said, "But it's pretty intense." Well, the customer came up with an idea with some aluminum to drop them down. And then he took a picture afterwards. And I said, "Okay." I said, "That looks a lot better." But, I said, "All right." I said, "So there's two things on this one now." I said, "We had, one spring." I said, "If we can get two springs, that's always better." And I explained to him why. And then I told him, I said the radius, but
Yeah.
I've just always used that for a rule of thumb where I've been in, when I, how it is. Sometimes you got a customer yakking behind you and you're trying to take dimensions and something's catching your eye, but you're like, what the heck's going on? So yeah, I just think you can, pretty much guarantee that if you see those two pieces, the vertical and the horizontal, where they come together,
Yeah.
that's going to be an indicator of what you got going there.
Right. I'd say you're safe to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Gets all the service. That was Rusty. I think I mentioned that. Plus, with sticking everything, has help as well with get more work as well. I wonder what. So two says, as it says, plus with sticking, it says everything has helped us well with get more work as well. Maybe I missed something on there. We'll jump over to the next one. But Rusty's guy says eyeball measurements. Now, I mean, I know, what's the right, you're supposed to take a level and put it at the bottom of the track and, make it level. And then you're supposed to do halfway in the track. Right. And that's supposed to tell you what radius it is, but I just think, like I said, if you can see in the pictures, especially for when I'm getting people sending me pictures and stuff like that, we can call it out and say, "Hey, that's 12, 15." Cause that makes a big difference. Wouldn't you agree, Tony? I mean, it makes a big difference when you go to do a what do we call these? Are they retros?
Yeah. I
You
would.
know?
I always go 15 and just have 12-inch, just in case.
Oh,
15's a smoother run.
sure is.
Transitions so much smoother, because you get that jerky. The customer's going to say,
Mm.
"Your door didn't run like that." How many times you had that one? My other door was smoother than that.
That's funny. That is true. So basically, just so we're clear, the verticals don't change, but the horizontals, you can put 15 on the same verticals and put 12s on the same, right?
If it all depends on headroom too.
Well, yes, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, nothing changes other than you're
Okay,
putting a bench on top of a on
sure.
15, whatever.
Right, right. No, that's
So
good to know because
whatever.
everything I've always done is more of a package deal. So,
Oh,
why would it change, right? Because I mean,
yeah,
that's just that bracket goes up on the flag,
yeah. Well, it's just like it. The vertical don't matter. It
right?
because you cut it. I've
Right.
I've cut 3 inches. Whatever. So
Yeah.
you can put anything on it. You can even
Sure.
go 6. Isn't that 6?
6-inch low headroom you're talking, or what are you talking? Oh,
6 inch radius. I think it is 6 or 9, whatever it is.
yeah.
Real tight one.
Oh, shoot. Wayne Dalton's got, what is it, a 3-inch, I think?
Oh, really?
A 3-inch low headroom. But the problem I've ran into, have you ever ran into this? Like, I don't try to go that 3-inch low headroom because what'll happen, unless it's grandma in a little car, that door sinks down in the header. You know what I mean? Like, it'll actually bring the
Mhm.
door down, so 6 inches is normally what you really want, especially if a guy's got a topper or something, you
Yeah.
know, and that's all you can do. Rusty says you can tell if it's 12 or 15 by the end bearing plate height. He says 15 is always low, and if it bolts are
Yeah.
in the 3/8 holes, it's 2-inch. Right, right. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I always just tell myself the end bearing plate, if I can pin it, to that flag and to the
Yeah.
horizontal, that's 12. If it's up in the air dangling, that's 15.
Yeah. That's a good way to. Yep. I mean, I can pretty much look at it and tell you.
I most of the time can, but if there's a bunch of stuff going on, a barking dog and clutter, and and then the thing is, when I'm looking at it is for a customer, or like for Caleb that's sending me pictures, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
that's my first indicator where I
Okay.
see it, because he sent me one of a customer in that corner, and I was like, I know that's 12 inch. Um, and I wish he had more of an overall picture, because he just ran into a problem. I was just mentioning it earlier. He ordered some springs offline. He needed 225 wire, and they sent him 243 wire, same dimensions of everything. But he's like, hey, will these work? And I'm like, probably not. I was like, that's too big of a difference.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing I wanted to ask you, Tony, too, was do you have a certain variable that so this is how I do it. Let's say you got a 225 wire, two
Okay.
inch, it's
Okay.
24. I go by 4 inch increments. You know what I mean? So I always tell myself, if it's over 4 inches, I say nope, we got to change it. If it's the 4 inches is my grace, you know what I mean? So if I need a 24 and it's 28, I'm like, that's right on the edge. You know what I'm saying? Um, you
Okay.
know, what I'm saying? If it's 26 inches long, I'll still fly with it, especially if it's got an opener. Now, if it's grandma running it by hand, with her Cadillac in there, I know I'm going to make sure it's precise.
Yeah. I try to stay within 1 to 2
Okay.
of it. I mean,
Yep.
it don't always happen that way, but you can twist that cone off and cut her down.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't add two, of course, but
No,
you
no,
know, depending.
no.
But I mean, I carry other springs, so
Oh,
I can grab. I can swap it out and do something different. What I do, here's what I do.
hmm,
Okay, let's just say I get there and you know I know the springs are original to the door.
okay.
I gauge them, and I let's just say one's a 35 IPPT and the other's 30. Let's
Yep.
go. Yeah, yeah, something 30. So right there, I put the two together. That's 65.
Ah,
Okay, divide that in two. I know I need 32 on each side.
okay. Okay.
That's I mean that's because I carry 32 IPPT. I wish I had my book in here. I mean, I got it all right there. What I have, I can't tell you right now. Got
Right, right.
eat and but
So I'm trying to think of on that IPPT. So now are you using your book more or less, or are you using online? Are you using like an app?
I have a book.
You use the book.
Yeah, I have. It's just I call it my Bible.
Is it right? Right. Is it the Service Spring one?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't, but I would think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe. I believe it's well, it's just a copy that I copied and copied
Oh,
and copied. I don't know
oh,
where it originally come from,
sure.
uh,
Sure.
but I believe it's probably Service Spring.
Gotcha.
It's really nice because it'll tell you the drum,
Hmm.
4-inch drum, what your IPPT or your multiplier would be. It's nice.
Okay.
It's just super, super nice to every height of the door, up to like 14 foot high.
Okay. Okay.
So I cut springs. I do a lot of cutting, you
How do
know.
you how do you cut your springs? I'm just curious in the field.
Um, well, I've had people want me to torch them off, but when it's windy and you're trying to get that torch, I could never get them to light. So I just take it and bend the spring and take the half inch off. Oh well,
Nice.
that'll work.
Nice. Well, you
You
do
know,
it. You do it a lot tougher than I do, because the thing I've noticed too is if you do it that way, boy, you can fight that tab going on.
uh,
Ooh, that thing's got a sharp point.
oh yeah,
It digs in that
that
cone.
you need to file that down once you do it. Another
Ah,
thing too is your hitch on the back of your truck.
right.
You can put it in there and pull it around and then cut it. Mm.
Oh. Yep.
You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Way you don't have to hold it in your arm, bend it.
Yep.
Kind of scary when you're doing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You're gonna lose a finger, you know.
You know, I've cut down like 4 or 5 inches, and cut one ring at a time. It's zing, or
Yo.
zing, zing. Okay, there's 4.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. That is funny. So you're basically not carrying any torches on the vehicle, though, right?
No, I've got one at the shop, but you know what? To be honest, I can never remember how to use the daggone thing.
Do you
What
do you got like a little portable one?
Yeah, I have a little one that it was my dad's.
Okay.
At the shop, I leave it out in the building. It
Okay.
seems quicker, like I said, windy. I've
Yeah.
always bought it, or you get to it and it's like, oh man, I left it on. There's no gas. I mean, I've done that 4 or 5, and you're just wasting it.
Well, I mean, this is actually really really useful because honestly, I kind of feel like you can't do springs in the field, but you're, with hay using a file, I don't see why not, especially making it so it doesn't dig down into your cone.
Well,
Um,
you seen my little vise thing that goes in the hitch.
yeah.
I that time.
Yep.
Well, you can do everything with that vise.
Oh man.
Your bumper, you can do springs in the field. You can cut them down, put cones on.
What we should do is mention though, do you carry the big blue? I call them big blues. I got big blue channel locks to grab the, springs and all that.
I use pipe wrench.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
I don't have that grip, but I do
Sure.
have the big C. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
they're big, but
Man.
I don't have the grip to do that.
See all the things these people are learning, man. I'm learning too. This is great. I mean, this is wonderful.
Okay, I need to do a video on how to take them
Yeah.
off pipe wrench.
Hell yeah. I've never, I mean, I don't see why
Up
not.
all the time with pipe wrenches.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, because I just cut some down with Caleb, and I had the big blues, and I told him, I said, you got to get right on that tip,
Yeah,
and that's
the same thing with the pipe wrench.
okay.
You get on there and it's just you
Yep.
don't no grip. You just keep going around.
Yep.
As long as you can keep it on that end, you're going, man.
Right.
Just
Right.
keep holding it up there. It's
Yep.
off.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's go into the comments here just to keep these guys on it. Let's see here. It says 2. He said stickers, my bad. So he must have said, what did he say earlier? It says plus stickering, everything helps as well with getting more work as well. Yes, the stickers are important on the garage doors. That is for sure. It does help.
Business cards too.
Business cards. I was going to ask you, that was one of my other questions. What do you think for guys starting out? What's kind of the most important thing, do you think? Like what's your, like, if you're just kind of starting out, I mean, a banner, stickers for garage door, business card.
Important thing. Number 1, you got to get your vehicle stickered.
Ooh.
Because that's your billboard.
That is true.
If you're out in a parking lot, guess what? Somebody's walking by and it's like, oh,
yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, I think.
I forget. Did you got one of those QR things on yours?
I have it. I don't have it on my vehicle, but I did a full page in like the it's the country clubs around Fort Wayne, and
Okay.
I a YouTube QR code there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Rusty says he does a lot of 10-inch radius.
Mm.
I've heard a lot of the guys do not like the 10-inch radius. I've done them. They're a little trickier, but I can't say I really dislike them. I'm glad. I feel like I'm glad they're there to get me out of a pinch versus 6-inch low headroom or 3-inch low headroom. So let's see here. Sidetracks only change, get shorter when you do go low headroom. Okay, so that's right. That's good.
Back will sit up right above it. Mm-hmm.
And Rusty's got on here, says Dave, he says, I go no more than 1/2 inch. I think, or 1.5 inches. Sorry. I think he's talking probably cutting it, You know,
Yeah.
I thought that's what I heard on the bottoms. You can cut the bottoms.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah. Yeah. Otherwise it pulls that top bracket out.
isn't that a bear? Man, I tell you, I didn't know that stuff when I was first starting out, man. And holy, I mean, you're working against yourself.
Inch and, and on Clopay, if you look at the bottom of the track on the Clopay, it has a double hole and then an oblong hole. I cut right below the oblong.
Oh,
That's an inch and a half up.
no kidding.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, Rusty will
Yeah.
like hearing that.
Yeah. Because if you go more than an inch and a half, then your top brackets, you'll have to go to a commercial top bracket to fit.
Yeah. And
You
it's a
just,
double-edged sword,
yeah. You're
especially
just
if you
like,
got an opener or something. You're just screwing yourself.
yep, exactly.
Unless you do those, what is it, the quick turns or whatever?
Yeah.
The, you know,
Low headroom. Yeah. Quick
yeah.
turn. But then those
Dun-dun-dun.
floppy.
Rusty's got, he says, if not, I charge the customer to cut down the next size up. Not sure what that one is. If not, I charge the customer to cut next size up. Let's see here. Body hitch vise. Oh, so this Rusty says I bought a hitch vise for cutting down springs. I use a grinder, cut off wheel. Sounds just like you, Tony.
Yeah.
Then bend the coil up with vice grips. Okay. So you're just manhandling it.
Yeah.
And see, I don't know why, if it's in my head, that I think to myself, see, because I've dealt with a lot of commercial, and you got to get that tab down in there on those big commercial
yeah.
springs.
You'll need to heat that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's why it's ingrained in me. I just go, springs have to have a torch. You know what I mean? That's just the way my mind works, you know?
I mean, it is nice, because then you can bend it up. You don't have it cutting in if you know, take the time to file it down or
right.
But
I think this is great. I think this is really good. This is why I really enjoy doing this, because I'm sitting here going, hey, for the guys starting out, or for Caleb and that, hey, you don't have. I even told him, I said, you should go buy yourself a little torch. All those things are what, $3 by the time you get all the stuff. There's $600 or something with the tanks and everything, and then you got to haul the darn things, and
grinder.
and I broke so many valves and stuff off on those things over the years, and the regulators, and they tip over in the vehicle, or they get legs.
Buy you one of those hitches that they're adjustable, and you can take the one part out, put you a square tube in there, and then put you a plate on it and mount you a hitch to it.
Bam. Did you make one, or does somebody sell one?
Yeah, I got half of it here. Let me see.
Oh, we got half.
I mean, the other half.
Tanner, you don't need the little torch. You got the Papa Tony way, a commercial. We know we got to have it. Oh, yeah.
You've seen this hitch where it has all the holes and it has goes into the Reese hitch.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, get rid of this part, put you a square tube in there, and weld you a plate on it. You can put a vise on it.
Nice.
And mine's adjustable. So when I get to the job, I pull the pin, drop down to the floor or ground, and then I can wrench on it and really
nice. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Cheap.
And if anybody knows where you can get one, that's kind of a setup of some sort, put it in the comments. It's always nice to know.
Yeah.
Rusty says, I'm with Tony. He says, I have big and small pipe wrenches. I don't see why not. I don't know why. This is great that the pipe wrenches are a go-to. This is wonderful. I mean, why not? Makes sense. Rusty's got Tanner. I'll do that for sure. We got Kevin. Kevin's here tonight, which is great. Says, we carry 10-foot lengths and torch cut all residential springs in the field. Wow. So I guess my question for Kevin would be, how do you haul all that? You know what I mean? That's quite a bit of springs if you got different varieties. See, I always wanted to do a trailer. I was always going to make a trailer like I wanted to do a 20-footer, big baby, but I was going to have probably some commercial on there and residential. But anybody had a broken spring, boom, you pull that puppy out there with the big dog truck, You whip them up right there. Cause that's the thing I don't like about some of that stuff is you can get out to some of these jobs. You know how it is. It's almost, I don't want to say it's 9 times out of 10, but it'll be, 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10 that you'll go and it's an oddball spring or something's goofy, or it could be I've seen those old wood doors that look beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I can't tell them to replace their door. I mean, it's a beautiful door. Now I got to go back, and sometimes it'd just be nice to be able to do it right there,
Add a spring.
Right.
Have a bracket, add a spring if you have to. Make it 3 springs instead of 2.
Next guy will tear you apart. He'll be like, what the hell? Who's did this?
Oh, no, because when you got to go to 273 or something,
Yeah.
you put you 3 of them up there, pair 2. I've seen it. And
I know.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
I've done it. I've only had two left hands.
I've heard it 100 times. You're an hour and a half away from the shop. You have parts to make it happen, but you don't the right stuff. What do you do?
Right. Exactly. Oh, I know, man. I was just thinking about it. That travel, man.
Yeah. When I was in Texas, we did a lot of that. A lot of travel.
I'm sure you're probably kind of out in the Timbuktus, right? I mean, there's just
it was nothing to do 2 hours just to a job.
Dang,
2 hours, maybe 3. Had the punk kid I was with. He laughed when I got there when we didn't have something.
Oh,
I said, you think it's funny,
right?
Well, it just took us 3 hours to get here. It's going to take me 3 hours to get back. Then 3 hours to come back. So you're going to be stacking this door in, and by the time I get back, I'm going to put the spring in there.
Right.
He was like, oh yeah, it ain't so funny now. I'm going to be doing work.
Right. Oh, that's crazy, man.
I've been there.
I know. I get it. That travel, man. That's why the old hand starts twitching. When I hear, we're talking, 45 minutes to an hour and 30, 2 hours away. I start going, oh, I go, who's going to be the runner that day? You know what I mean? And who's going to be the savior? Or, did we get all the pictures? Did they sign for this? They got a credit card on file. I mean, this is, they're going to pay, right? I mean, let's see what Tanner's got. He says, we have a big torch in the shop, but those little travel ones, he says, have to carry 2 small tanks and it's all one handle grab. And go put it in the lift. Yeah, the lift works good for those little ones. The hoses coil up. He says, carry it. It's nice. Yeah, those things are, but those are like, so what I want to kind of bring up for some of the new guys is that you always got to remember, this is stuff you got to get done, a couple days in advance, because I screwed up before when I really needed it, go to the Home Depot, buy the kit, realize the tanks aren't loaded or filled. Now you got to go get those filled. I mean, it could be a 2 to 4 to 6 hour endeavor. Especially when you don't know what you're doing. Cause I go into these places and they'd be like, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to make a blowtorch. They're like, what do you want? O2 this or I'm like, and they're like, okay, you're just trying to use it for cutting. Okay, you just need these little tanks, but it's not my expertise. Two's got, he says, I was through get a vise. He says, I thought get a vise. He said, if you want the winding side, get a winding bar, spin it off. Done that. He says, and for the anchor side flat part, he says J arm. Okay, arm bracket, and put bolt in the hole and spinner off.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can do it up on the door when you have to.
Oh yeah. Hey, if you got you a Surewinder, it's real easy.
Oh, hey, you know what, Tony? I was just thinking, I got to ask you, I've had twice now. I just took a picture a couple days ago because I had to cut winding bars for residential. You don't know, do you know what the distance is? You need to find that out, or do that on a video.
I can get in pretty tight. You remember, you see that where Rich B, he was going to have problems winding. Thought he was take the strut off, and I showed him that put it behind the bar trick.
Yeah,
pull it out. it'll get in there.
Really?
It's in tight. I'm telling you,
Man.
tighter. Yeah.
Well, next time
I
you get using it, measure, see what,
well,
can you do 2 inches or inch and a half or 3 inches? You know,
I've got the brute sitting here, but the Surewinder's out in the van.
You thought it was out in the van. It's in my truck now.
It should be locked.
I've been looking for one. Who's your buddy that you got that one from? I've been looking for the broken glass one, but I can't find one online.
That one, they come out of Terre Haute, Indiana. And you know what? I was watching some video or something, and Terre Haute's like one big drug capital.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So it was definitely about made me sick to my stomach.
I've been looking for what's
I'd,
that? Go ahead.
I'd hate to lose that.
I've been looking for a chop saw, just for cutting wood and stuff. And I see some and I keep going, gosh, it kind of feels like the price they're asking for that's stolen,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I was buying that brute, I thought it was a Surewinder.
Oh.
They didn't have it as a brute winder. They had it as a Surewinder. So I thought $400. They're about 7 something.
Sure.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's fair. Well, then
right.
And I'm like, that's
right.
a $1,400 piece of equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then I kind of had an idea.
Huh. That's cool though. Like I said, you got a good deal at least.
No, I did, but yeah, I felt sick to my stomach there for a bit because I felt sorry for the dude that lost it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm glad at least now I know that there's a difference. I was so confused for such a long time between the brute winder and the Surewinder. I kept thinking they were totally different manufacturers, but
no, they're the same.
Let's see what Tanner's got. It says the nut guy there. He says that's exactly how I do it. He says pipe wrench either way works. Pipe wrench works good to fix it on the shaft if it breaks right on the cone. You can use a pipe wrench to get the few coils off. Yeah. And so, Tony, I was thinking too, do you have an idea in your head about what can the door be off? Can it be off 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 40 pounds? Where's kind of your threshold? Do you have any?
Well, if it's off, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna get a lot of clunking.
Oh.
Who was it that said that in the gear sprocket? You'll tear that gear sprocket up. So you want that door balanced.
Right.
You have to. Otherwise you're just going to tear the opener up, and
True.
it might be 2 years down the road, 3 years, but you're going to really wear on that that. The bushing I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Leaves the dust up there.
Yep.
That's usually from an unbalanced door, or somebody putting, one that's just not right,
Right.
because you know how it is if you have it balanced and you don't have it hooked up to an operator.
Right.
And you made the comment where that if it's hooked to an operator, you can get away with murder.
Right. Right.
And those people that do that, that's what tears, they're really not doing the right thing.
I always wondered if Andy, the one from was it Brazilian hot dog or whatever?
Yeah.
He'd be a good one.
He's good.
He always got good stuff, man. I've always wondered if you maintain that plastic gear, in a normal door operation, if you could keep that gear going for, like 20 or 30 years, because you know how it is. Normally you get, sometimes 8, 10, 15, and they get chewed up.
If you're always keeping the door maintenance and it's just to where you're lifting it,
Yeah.
There's no hesitation, no chunking, no or wanting to run,
Right.
To go up, it's too hot. If it's wanting to come down hard, I tell everybody, or my daughter, whatever, a foot off the ground, that door should set a foot off the ground. It should set halfway, and it should set up to at the top.
Okay.
Above the threshold there.
Sure.
You don't want down below.
Okay.
So those are the 3 points for a perfect balanced door.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I shoot for.
Huh.
It's not so much, whatever the right spring. It's the balance.
Right.
That's what I do.
No, it makes sense. I wonder, like, it'd be cool to do an experiment, where you could have a door that's perfectly balanced, and then you're doing preventive maintenance on it like every year for this customer for like 30 years. And you go in there and grease the gear inside and spray the top, the chain, and see if you could get that gear to last.
I tell the customer the garage door opener is just an assist.
Yeah.
For the door. That's all it's doing. The springs do all the work.
Right.
The spring's doing the work. The door opener just gets it going.
I've had a lot of old timers that they swear, I need a bigger opener. And I'm like, you don't need a bigger opener. I need a 3/4 horse.
No, I tell them too. I say, if your door's balanced, and that's one thing I do when I sell an opener, that door has to be balanced.
Right.
I don't tearing up my door.
Yeah.
Or my opener.
Right. Yeah. It makes you look bad.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's see. I think, did I get this one? Tanner says coils off is to cut them off with a grinder, put the spring back on, cone, wine, wrench instead of clamping. Oh, clamping is sometimes you can't clamp it when it breaks on the cone.
If it's on the cone, like he said, just unwind that, take that off, put it right back on.
Man, I never see them break by the cone. I mean, kind of close, but never on the cone. I don't think I've ever seen one.
I just pulled one out of the van tonight.
No way.
Yeah, it was like this long.
Yeah, I guess now I think of it, it's been close, but I don't think I've had any.
The cone was like right here at the end of the cone. So
yeah,
one or two.
I mean, that's probably better than clamping it, because clamping it is risky. It is risky stuff.
Oh yeah, winding back up. Yeah, but I think with your clamp, the way you do it, I wouldn't be worried.
It's sketchy, dude.
Other than it's going to break somewhere else.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. That's why I've actually twisted those things off. If I'm in like a panic situation, I'll put them so tight I'll actually break the set screws right off. And I'm like, whatever.
U-bolts let go while I'm winding. Shoot! And have to put it back on again. Oh, damn.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't even know how in those U-bolts what you use to get a really tight crank on them either. You know what I'm saying? Because right.
Again.
Right.
Yeah.
Cut off grinder clamp. Let's see. Rusty's got something here. Says, if you guys have to cut one down in the field, do you charge extra labor? Ooh.
Yeah. Nope.
Just it is what it is, right?
It is what it is, man. It's not their fault.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always just glad we made it work. You know what I mean? So we don't have to come back.
They need it. That's the way I look at it. I'm a garage guy. I'm the rolling Walmart of garage doors.
I love it.
That's what I tell
them. I don't know. I haven't seen this one. Mars on here. He says upsell king. I don't know. Tanner's got does not usually.
I'm not an upseller.
Yeah.
I don't sell them if they need it.
Yeah. This is not usually. So it takes a second, but if I get it all up and have to drop it all down, then I might, depending on who it is for. Most of the time, I ask for headroom jam size if I don't measure it. So what's he got here? So I order the door and track radius accordingly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, if you can just do it and it saves you a service call back, seems like it's better. There you go. Tanner's guy says, can we do a thumbs up on the live chat? There you go. I forgot to mention that. Good call, Tanner. Appreciate that. Let's see here. What's Tanner got on this one? He says, Rusty, you should ask Dave or Tony for my number. Tell them to give you my your number so I can send you all my Clopay pics and videos for what I run into with them. Oh man. I don't know. I wonder, Tanner, you ever get that one job done? What was he doing? Did he say we were in a group on that, wasn't he? He's doing like 2
Yeah.
or 4 doors or something. The
Oh,
smaller doors, the smaller
yeah.
doors.
Small one. Yeah. His small, my small. Or
I was hoping to still get a video from Tanner on. I wanted to see the brute winder in action with that huge drill.
here's Tanner small.
Yeah,
And here's my small.
you're right. You're right. I agree. He does some monster stuff, man.
Yeah.
My hat's off to him because
What was it? 30, 20, 24 by 16 or something. I'm like, a small. That's
I'm thinking like 9 by 7 or
30 by 20.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll bring it up too. So Caleb,
Hernia.
he ended up going out there and did those springs, right? And he just had to do springs. That was it, change out springs. And he was like, "Wow!" He goes, "Man," he goes, "I can't believe how easy this was." And he says, "I wasn't there very long." And I said, "Hey," I said, "I'm telling you, guys," I said, "An old foreman that used to work for me," I said, "he always told me if he was going to start a garage door business, he was just going to do garage door springs, residential garage door springs, and that was it."
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't come across anybody, but I bet if they're in a good enough market, I bet they could advertise the hell out of that and same day service, and you could make a darn good living. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you could be the one that they always think about, right? Because that's how it always works. You're like a fire extinguisher. You're not important until needed. You know what I mean? And you could charge a little bit of a premium. You run out there, and what's nice is you're not moving material. Don't have to deal with scratches and dents. And oh, that's not the right color, or this isn't fitting, or they got something in the way. Well, I guess you can deal with stuff in the way still with springs. But what do you think about that, Tony? I mean, tear it up.
You just did. You covered it. You did good.
I mean, I can't think of anything else, but I just think,
Yeah.
I think about how much then you get a little bit of scrap money, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, and it fits in the vehicle. Like you can probably work out of a darn near, minivan to a mid-sized truck to, you don't have to haul because, that's the one thing I don't think we take in consideration sometimes. And I know I haven't is that, you price a job out, but yeah, you're there for 2, 4, 6 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had to go pick it up or you had to deal with it being dropped off. And then, now you got stuff to deal with, to get rid of at the shop and clean out your vehicle and all the nuts and bolts. And do you keep this? Do you not keep this? Do you throw this away? And, just something to think about.
I just done that today.
Right. That's what I used to do. I used to do it all pretty much after hours or on the weekends. I mean, I'd tear all my vehicles and stuff apart because anytime I try to do it during the week, I'd always have all my stuff laid out in the shop or wherever out in the, if it was a nice day out, and all of a sudden there's the phone would ring and I'd be like, son of a, have to throw it all back in, make a worse mess.
Yeah.
So Rusty says, okay, he says, I'll be glad to see them. He says, I'll email Dave to get it. I love it. Dave, Rusty's guy said, I replaced a LiftMaster gear kit the other day. It was from 1997. $325 he charged. 1997.
175.
175. Tony will even drive out there with no extra cost. I just had to put that in there.
Right.
Sorry.
When I drink. Oh. No, I'm not driving Pennsylvania.
Tanner's got this is my what's this angle iron cutter? He says my Tony, he says, broke my angle cutter. Dang. So on Monday last week, he snapped it clean in half. Wow. He says had that
235 Denko right now.
Ooh, he says I had that sucker for 4 years.
About buying another one.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen so one guy I wanted to, I'm not that type of person, but I wanted to steal this thing from him, but he had it in the back of his truck and he had the nips. They were just nips. So you did one side at a time. It was old. This thing was like antique looking ish, but it had replaceable shears on it. And he was using it to cut some angle for me. And I was like, dude, you want to sell that? And he's like, no. And I was like, And I bought one of those cutters from Service Spring. Now, this was years ago, and I used it. It said it was supposed to be able to do commercial. We did it on a commercial job. It started getting so hard at the end, and we only did, 6 pieces or whatever. I ended up calling Service Spring. Service Spring was excellent about it. They actually said, we've had complaints about it. Just send it back. We'll either refund you your money or we could send you another one, but I don't know if you want one. And I said, no. I said, just refund my money. So
mine kicks butt. I can cut up 2-inch.
no problem.
I'm about 165 pounds. It takes a little bit, all my weight, but
Right.
Great. I've had mine probably 4 years, 5 years.
And where'd you get yours?
Denko.
It's
a yellow one. I think Service Spring sells the same one.
See, mine was the one I believe I got from them was red in color. And like I said, it didn't hold up. And then, I got kind of burned. So then it was either we always did Sawzall, or now I got the fix. I like the bandsaw, but I'd still like that because I'd like the fact that, I don't have to have battery operated.
Yeah.
And I'm not burning up blades. Right. And you know how it is with blades, you got stuff that could get in your eyes or your employees, or you make a mess on the ground now too. So something to think about. What did I got here? Oh, I don't think I finished it. 4 years, used it once and broke it. He says, had to get a bandsaw to get me three. Oh, I'm sure it's through the week. Not a big fan, not liking the bandsaw. Man, I like that bandsaw that Rich B had it was the M12 version though. And so it was small, where I got the M18. That thing's big and bulky. I normally have one of the kids that have Cora, I'll be like, stand on the tailgate. So, I can cut that thing, because otherwise I stick my foot way up there and I need a vise.
About mine, and I can just cut it, have a foot on it. Bam, bam, bam.
Nice.
That ain't real quick.
That's awesome.
1 inch. Now the 2-inch.
Got to put a little. Well, that's the only reason I like the one that nipped. You know what I mean? I thought that's the way to do it, because then when you got that more commercial stuff, it just nips and you can sharpen those. They were you could take them out with little Allen screws, but I haven't found one. I haven't been looking for one in a long time. Maybe I will. This one's from Steven. He says, got to a job. Says one of the springs was broken, and the opener was still opening the door. Probably a genie. Those genies screw drives, they'll tear up doors. I've seen them. Those things keep pulling. I think Caleb just ran into one too.
That or an All-Star.
Yeah, the chain drive ones. Yeah, those things would keep running. Which is kind of like, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. You know what I mean? Because if you got a customer that doesn't pay attention, that can be a problem. And then if they tear up the top panel, that sucks. You know what I mean? What's this say? Tanner's got. He says, I love my angle iron cutter. But he said, I'm glad I gave it a try. He says, bandsaw works good, but my cutter is way faster and less effort. Tanner, I don't know if Tanner mentioned. Did he mention, Tanner? Can you let me know what cutter you are using too? Where did you purchase it from? That'd be very helpful, because, like I said, I am really gun shy. I'd love to get one though. I really would, because they are nice. A little bulky, a little big.
Oh, I love it.
They are nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to order another one, because I hate moving it from vehicle to vehicle.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I understand that. Let's see. Rusty's got. He says, Tanner, I see Milwaukee. What's it called? A super saw for angle, and super saw. I don't know if that's supposed to be just. Yeah, but he's got super sawzall for angle. He says, so I don't know if it's like some Hercules one. He says, I have a. I have a big hitch mounted cutter. He says, but I haven't used it for years. Oh man. See, those Sawzall blades are so expensive, man.
Angle cutter.
Yeah.
Don't need that.
And I don't know what those angle cutters are running right now. What are they? $300, $400?
$235.
$235?
$235.
Dang.
Right now.
Dang. You can buy them on Papa Tony's website. Get your Surewinder too. All right, Tanner's got here. He says, must have been a Wayne Dalton 9100. He says, we get those all the time. They are so light. The opener just opens the door, or an old fiberglass door. Oh, yeah. Wayne Dalton doors, the old 9000 series. They are light doors, but they normally will get tore up pretty bad before they'll keep lifting. Those old, what were they called? Torque Masters. Torque Masters are always fun to diagnose when you get there. What you got in your hands there, Tony?
Huh?
So what you got in your hands? You got something? What's that?
I'm gonna run out to my truck real quick.
All right,
I'm
go for it.
Flyer real quick.
I'll go through some of these comments.
Be right back.
We'll be here. Let's see here, 9,000. So Tanner says, he says, I've used a Sawzall for years. He said, I'll never go back. I'll never go back. He says, I use Denko or Service Spring handle iron cutters. He says, I can't change my ways in that one. Yeah, it's if you get yourself a bandsaw, I love the bandsaw. The bandsaw, that smooth cut, especially on what I've always really enjoyed them for was the reason I actually, so it's kind of weird, right? It's stupid. I bought one that was a corded one, bandsaw, sorry, Milwaukee. And we were doing a big fence job. I didn't like dragging around the cord and stuff. And it sat. We didn't do a fence job for almost like 6 months or something like that, maybe a year. I thought, I'm getting rid of this thing. I didn't really enjoy it. It's corded, it's pain. I got rid of it. We went to another big fence job, of course, another 3 months, 6 months later. And I was like, do I buy another one? I was like, so I bought one to nip all the post off on the fence job. And then I started carrying it and I thought, I started using it for angle iron. And I just realized that it doesn't have that jiggleness, because if you use one thing I would notice is when I'd use, I'd cut it on my tailgate or something, right, with that plastic. I try to keep my stuff somewhat nice. I don't got the nicest, but I try to keep it nice. It would vibrate so much. It would, even in my tables, right, tables and that, it would jiggle so much. It'd cut into things, that angle. Oh, the funs. Service. Tanner says, I will gladly take feedback because I'm looking to outfit my new, it says Duramax, my new tool platform. He says, I'm going with Dave's method. If every truck has a different tool platform, they won't end up with other. Yeah, we still hold true to that because it's just, as you, I don't know, as you go into a business, it's tough. Employees, can be if you get the right ones, but it's very tough because you spend in my businesses. I've spent so much time. I sat there with engravers at night. I buy all these brand new tools and I engrave everyone. I take a permanent marker and write over the numbers even so you could see it. And it just seemed like it never failed. I even learned this from the beginning with my business partner. It was only two of us. Every time I'd set my drill down, my impact, right, I'd go back to turn around to pick it up. It'd be gone. I'm like, where the and the worst part is I'm sitting there thinking it's my brain, like I'm going, where did I set it down? So I don't say nothing, right? I don't say nothing. He's over there, zip, 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 working away. And I'm like, hey man, like, did you see my impact? Oh yeah, I grabbed it. God darn it. Don't grab my impact, because I'm sitting here thinking I lost it. So I don't want to bug him. He's busy doing something. I want to be like, hey man, my idiot must have set it down somewhere, So what'd you grab? You grabbed your book?
I thought it was out there.
Yeah, it wasn't. I took that too, along with that Surewinder.
I didn't check see if Surewinder. Should
is it Civilian? He said, I haven't seen Civilian. Welcome, Civilian. What's the guy? He says, should someone switching careers into the garage door space start by working for one of the big companies for a bit? Other resources are training. Ooh, Tony's probably got some insight on this.
I would say it wouldn't hurt to go work for somebody as long as, I don't think there's a no compete anymore, but I wouldn't sign anything. I wouldn't sign a no compete. That's for sure.
Right. Right.
Is in your, but yeah, I would say it'd be smart to do that.
I don't think it can hurt.
I
I mean,
wouldn't pay. I wouldn't pay somebody. I wouldn't pay to learn it. I'd let them pay you.
so basically you wouldn't take that course that one guy's selling out there.
No, no.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all depends. I guess we'd almost have to have a little more details on that, because I guess in my mind, if you can keep doing the job that you're doing and you got the flexibility, because life, it just all depends. Do you got kids? Do you got babies? You got adults, kids? Are you married? Are you single? If you can do it on the side, and that's
Yeah.
why I always encourage people where you could, possibly, I think an opener is kind of the real easy basic to start out with, or offering like if you can get into the springs, if you can learn the concept and you can watch enough videos that you feel confident, or just I always look at it like this is how I kind of look at it. I look at like college is not free. You can go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on college, or you could just be honest with somebody and tell them, look, I'm doing this as like a side gig. I'm doing this as donations. I'm doing this as, if I can't figure it out, you're not out nothing, and this is where I'm at. I mean, we're going to have to call in somebody. And if you could even make even if you reached out to some people, I'm sure like somebody like Papa Tony or myself, and you told them what you're doing, kind of like Caleb, right? Caleb ran into a code red. Uncle Dave had to step in and help him out a little bit, but just to have that support, I think that'd be a big thing too. But if you could just start out with something, what do you think, Papa Tony? I mean, you think like openers and stuff? I mean, the residential is the easiest, right?
Well, here's what I think. I mean, you're wanting to start your own business,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely got to be available. So you definitely don't want to have little kids.
Right. Right.
I mean, for me, I mean, my kids are all grown and can rock and roll anytime.
Right.
I can go.
Right. Right.
I can
Right.
go. I can get up out of the recliner and go.
Right.
And make your money.
Right. And that's why otherwise you might just want to switch into it and go work for somebody.
Yeah.
And, you're getting paid and you're learning, you're seeing all the secret sauce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How it all rolls. But yeah. You, I don't know. It's not hard to do. You got to have that. You got to have that. What is it? Mentality. You got to be able to sell. If you could sell something,
Right.
yeah, you could do it.
Right.
Garage
Right.
door. What, 16-foot by 7 is no different than a 16-foot by 8 or a 9 by 8 or an 8 by 8. Once you learn a garage door,
Right.
all work the same.
Right. Right. And I think it's really just, I mean, there isn't much I've ever learned, besides like watching some stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. But most of it, you just got to get out there and touch it, and when
You do.
something does a little slip up, you go, ooh, I ain't gonna do that again.
Yeah. I mean, watch my videos. I've had shafts out and had to tie them down to figure out how am I going to unwind this spring. It's all right here. You got to think about it.
Right.
Every job is different. That's what I like about it.
Right.
But you're going to have to attack it a little bit different because there's something going on.
Yeah. I always like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's all you got to look. All you're trying to do is get that thing on the ground. I've taken garage doors with come-alongs and inch by inch by inch, walked them back down, just get this damn thing on the ground. You know what I mean?
I've had to track on a extension spring pull off
Ooh.
I've come along, hook it to my hitch of my truck and pull it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it took like 2 hours to get the job done. And, I would have had another guy to just put it there,
right.
But it didn't. So
no,
you just got to make it happen.
I've made a lot of things happen, guys. A lot of guys have learned from me, that have worked for me, because they're like, well, I need 2 guys. And I go, I'll show you how to do it with it's commercial, like operators and stuff like that, jack shafts. I go, all you need is a scissor lift and a couple ratchet straps, and you can do wonders.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Just did that this weekend.
Yep. Let's see here. Tanner's got. He said truck tools. He says I'm looking into I don't know how to ever say it. The metal. Is that what Home or Menard sells? Metal bow. Never had them before. Yeah, it's the power tools. HPT says since they have the triple hammer impact. Anybody else run? I thought, isn't Rich been pushing? Weren't we going back and forth on that trim nailer about that, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah. Rich. Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah, Rich had a run, so he's not here right now, as far as I know. Yeah, I don't know about those tools. I'm still bouncing back and forth. Like even looking at a skill saw right now, a miter saw. I'm probably gonna go DeWalt. It's always seems like I keep bouncing between Milwaukee and DeWalt. They always seem like they have the easiest to use. It's kind of like when you use the rigid trim nailer, one of the guys, it works, but it just doesn't feel quite right. It just, so I don't know, but he says, it'd be pretty cool to see it. It's a triple hammer impact. I don't know if it rips real fast. I thought, didn't Milwaukee come out one time? I thought they were talking about like a hydraulic impact, like it's supposed to be smoother and quiet, but I don't hear any more about it. I've never been at a job site where I've seen it and I go, hey, what are you using? That's really smooth and quiet. But Rusty's got, says Dave, he says I made as much doing doors as I did service this year. He says I'm starting to run more Google keyword advertising for spring repairs. That's what, I don't know, man. I just tell you the springs, I think about it and I just go, you can almost charge more of a premium. I've actually been thinking about telling Cap, because I know nobody's monitoring it anymore. I thought about doing after hours and doing weekends, because when I was pretty hard into it, I tell you what, it was good money on the weekends. Like I could charge, another $100-200 more than what I normally would. Because and then people people like hold the phone. You could hear them. Oh my gosh, somebody on the, are you AI or are you, I'm like, yeah, what do you got going? And sometimes you can defer them if you want to too. You can say, well, if I come out today, it's going to be X amount, or if we wait till Monday. And that's why we typically in our schedules, Mondays and Fridays are somewhat kind of floater days. And then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are kind of those are set scheduled days, because normally on the weekend, you got a couple days that things break and then they call Monday if they didn't call over the weekend. And then some reason for us anyways, we've always gotten Friday, where I've had a lot of those where you go to those people and they go, well, this thing's been broke since Tuesday, but I really wanted to get my lawnmower out because I came up from Chicago. And I'm like, thanks, dude. I'm out here at 5:00 on a Friday now, you son of a biscuit. Let's see here. Mari says that's exactly my case. He says I'm new here. He says I fell in love with this channel. He says I started a company and have virtually zero competition. Wow. Says over 150 5-star on Google, and they said I'm only doing it for 9 months. Dang.
Nice.
Dang, that's nice. Heck yeah.
Check out Tony's garage door.
There you go. Check them out. And also I did put, I don't know how it shows up, but I did put Tony's email too in the description, I believe. So you guys can always check that out too. If you need to, you can always email him. Also, it says state. I don't think it has a state. What state or anything? City? Can you say or can't say? Civilians. He says, so Rusty says, yes, working in the field with a company will let you get experience. And you don't have to advertise. It is good if you can see how other people do it. It is nice. Tanner says, Civilian says it helps getting the basics from another company. It does take years to become a good door guy, which I'd agree. Says it's hard to learn. All comes with time. Says you have to run into the problems to learn how to fix. That is very true.
Tanner knows.
Yeah, that's very true. I always tell people for me, I'm a slow learner. So it took me a year, just to kind of feel like I understood what was going on. I remember my business partner at the time even just winding a garage door spring, and I was like, I have no idea what you're doing. And he's like, well, I'm counting the turns, and I'm like, I like this. I don't even know what you're doing. It just looks like you're up there spinning something that makes no sense to me. I mean, so it took me a year just to feel like, okay, I understand the concept, but it felt like it took me 5 years to where I went, I got this, and then every year was always like another little cherry on the top where, you come into the more commercial or bigger doors that are crooked, and you got, somebody that was working with you, apprentice, whoever, and they're sitting there like, basically crapping in their pants. And you're like, we got this, dude. We just got to move this thing inch by inch and get the rollers back in. Hey, there's a forklift over there. Sweet. We got this,
Yeah, laugh. I'm sorry.
I had no clue.
Yeah, that's funny. I have a clue either. Year old man. The way here's how my start happened. Lost my job on a Friday.
Ooh.
After 18, almost 19 years. Me and 143 of my buddies lost our job.
Wow.
Yeah. And I started hanging doors that Monday. So I was out of work 2 days.
Dang.
An 80-year-old man showed me how to hang doors.
Wow.
Yeah. Gave me 2 weeks training.
Wow.
And I had to phone a friend. We didn't have the internet.
Oh, I know.
I had to phone a friend. Hey, I got a door hanging by 2 rollers. What do I need to do?
Right.
Get some ropes. Don't want it to fall on your head.
Yeah.
Then that's when I realized, oh yeah, okay, use your head, dude.
Right.
Figure it out.
I know. It's so crazy now with the technology. You can take pictures and send it via text and all that. I mean,
my old age to remember how to program, this keypad, that keypad, or that one.
Yeah.
Look up YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
So Tony, I'm just curious, do you remember roughly what year that was when you lost your job with the 100+ guys?
No.
I'm
going to say like, yeah, you got me on the spot now.
Well, I was just thinking if it was like the 07,
about
like
20 years ago.
What was it?
Whatever, 20 years, 04.
Okay.
04.
Okay. I was just curious.
Roughly.
I assumed it wasn't in super good times. So something going on,
Yeah. It was a glass manufacturer.
Gotcha. Tanner must have said something there. He says thanks, Tanner. And hey, you guys are more welcome. Like I said, we always like the comments and try to help out. So we appreciate it. Rusty says, yes, I agree. Years. He says, I'm at 20 now before I felt like I had it completely figured out. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's been times, so many times I've been in the truck with guys, they'll see a picture or something and we're looking at, what are we going to do? And I have no freaking clue. I said, I'll just figure it out when we get there,
Yeah. And they look at you like, what?
Right. You like, what, wait, man?
Just relax.
Right. We'll figure it out. It's like, I feel like you gotta, how do I say it? You got to use what's around you. You know what I mean? You start adapting, hey, there's a scissor lift. Perfect, man. Oh, hey, there's a forklift. I've used people's pump jacks before that are sitting over in the corner somewhere, a piece of pipe or a piece of wood, or you just got to be like MacGyver.
Yeah. Or it's like, hey, can you grab that pallet and lift me up here real quick?
Yep. I've done that. I put a harness on, sketchy as, I always prefer somebody I'm working with driving it. They understand.
I've had them. Holy shit.
Even when they lift up doors, I don't like the forklift drivers because they're just, I'm like, lower it. Boom. They lower like a foot. Like, whoa, I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, my fingers are in here. Oh, I'm sorry. Get off that forklift. Let him drive it. The other guy. Rich B's back, so that's cool. Let's see. Tanner's guy says, damn, Rusty says, I'm going on 16. He says, I'm still running into installs from someone else. He says, and scratching my head and wondering why in the hell they did it that did it they do that? And he says probably how they did that, or do that, why they do that. I know you follow that all the time. Rusty says, Mari says, which state are you located in? Also, how did you get so many reviews? Oh, that's true. It's hard to get people to follow through. This is 2. I don't know what this was. What maybe the next one says, what's everyone driving today for work trucks? Ooh, I got the Nissan. I got the old Nissan for me.
I got a Ford F-150 2018 and a Dodge Caravan.
I thought about maybe taking out one of the old service vehicles when one gets retired out, but I don't know. I'm liking comfort nowadays. 2023 Duramax he's got. That's Tanner. 3500 long bed. Hey, change the cameras on us.
Yeah, I did.
That's okay.
I'm trying to get it back.
Well, you might as well play around a little bit. It's like I said, this was all experimental tonight. 2022 25 double cab, 8 foot ladder rack and toolboxes.
Now I can see the chat.
What? No way.
I can see it now.
No kidding. That's cool.
All I had to do was hit a button over there. Wow.
So what do you see though? Are you seeing on the screen what I'm clicking on?
Well, I don't know if it's the same thing you're seeing.
I'm on Rusty's right now.
Okay, Dave. I see that. The wall.
Must be something else.
That would be Tanner.
We'll go down here. Tanner says, where are you located? He said, I'm selling a Duramax extended 4x4 van, possibly. Ooh, I don't know. I thought Tanner was getting. Oh, that's Tanner. I was gonna say Tanner's getting rid of his van. That's the 4x4. He's probably the only one. I'm surprised some of the guys aren't getting into I don't know, man. I tell you what, those trucks, man, do not entertain me anymore. They're up too high. I don't know. I mean, I get it when you got to have pulling power and stuff like that, but I just feel like there's got to be a better option, like a cutaway van, dually, something. I mean, I always remember years ago from my uncle always telling me, he goes, I do not, I like to reach everything. I like to be able to reach everything instead of crawling in. Let's see. This one's Rusty. He says, Dave, it's not expensive because customer is paying for it. Ooh, customer. They got high ends over there though. Indiana. Oh, Mars in India. He says he's in Indiana.
Where?
He says I typically make sure to always add complimentary service, chain tightening, track spacing, etc. He says I just tell them all I ask for a review. Oh, okay, so probably the ones that aren't big jobs, you just kind of, which is good. Some people, I've been seeing this thing around. I don't know if it's like a Google card where the people can scan it and it brings you right to their page or something like that. I have sent it before too, like a link. That organic stuff helps.
Where are you located in Indiana?
We'll see if he brings it up. Tanner's guy. He said, I'm ordering a long box service body. He's waiting on quote to get a factory powder coated, get it black. Man, those things, I just know they can.
Oh, you're over by Rich B.
Oh.
Northwest Indiana. I'm northeast.
Sky's here. What's up, Sky? Hope Sky's doing good. This is my address. Is in the description for sending me tools. Thanks.
Sky?
Yeah, mine's in there too. So Papa Tony wants to send me a Surewinder or even that angle iron cutter. I'll take that too. Rusty's got, he says, he says, thank you for the advice. He says, I'll try it. Yeah, like I said, whatever works, got to try it. Tony, I had the Denko yellow angle cutter, just ordered another.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Let's see here. Tanner's guy. So I'm going to email DeWalt, Makita, and I don't even know how to say it. Metable. He says about making a battery power slotted angle iron cutter. Milwaukee just came out with electricians and channel cutter. It's not far off what we need. I'm sure somebody's going to. I'm sure somebody's going to come out with something. They always got all those little gadgets, but that's why it's always like I always feel like DeWalt sometimes has something that I want versus Milwaukee, and Milwaukee will have something that DeWalt. It seems like DeWalt always has a little more gadgety stuff, honestly. Rich B says Tanner, look into it's called a rat pack for the bed of the truck. It's also 8 inches tall and has 3 or 4 pull-out drawers that are about 7 to 6 to 7 feet long.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's mine are two. Mine has 2 drawers, and then it has toolboxes that I pull out, and it's all individually. That's in the 18.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I used to I don't think anybody's here has ever probably had one of those. Is it Load and Go? I think it's Load and Go. They're made out in Arizona, and they're inserts that go into your truck bed, and then you can take them out with a forklift. They're pretty pricey though. They're pretty pricey, but they're nice if you want to use your truck for personal and business. But then you got to also have a forklift or a skidster to take it in and out. It's kind of, but they're pricey, but it's got a ladder rack on it. It's got your tool bins. It's got a nice big old drawer that pulls out. It's got side compartments. That was a pretty nice unit, but it was expensive. A lot of people don't know about them though. I dug hard to find them. Tanner. So Rusty's got Tanner. Don't make me excited. He says that's a great idea. Heck yeah. Feels like the choppers. If the choppers work good, those yellow metal cutters like Tony and Tanner's got, then so be it,
They do, man. They kick butt.
I just like stuff too. I'm always like anything that's not blades or power is way better in my mind.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because
it's always going to work.
Yep. I mean, you know how it is in the cold or something just jams up or you forgot to get blades. Oh man, that sucks. Tanner Milwaukee already had one. It doesn't surprise me. I feel like I did see something a while back. Either Rich sent me or I came across a video about some kind of cutter that was like, well, that's pretty close to what we need. Tanner said, I'm thinking about getting the deck toolbox system for my service body bed. I actually was talking to Dave today. I ran to Nebraska quick and picked up a 6 foot 6 inch deck bed system for my guys. Yeah. I never use much of those deck ones. I could see where I made mine years ago out of wood and rollers. It didn't work the best, but it did do, so I'd have to climb up in there.
Oh, cool.
Rusty's got Tanner in Pennsylvania. That bed would be frozen shut half the year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I really like the enclosures. I really like enclosures for us in here. Tanner truck just got home about 8:30. He says quick 6-hour drive. He says got it for $800. He says almost new with all the storage boxes. Figure the guys are young and don't plan on keeping that truck long, so got it off of market. Nice. Yeah, it's just I'm still trying to think. Like, can you even think of anything, Tony? Like, I just think of those cutaway vans. We got a competition, I guess, and they got one, but it's a dually. And I just think about those things you can stand up in them. I love the back. I love the back step on them. I just trying to think if there's another service vehicle out there that might help somebody that's Tanner does the big stuff.
I used to run for the other company I worked for, those little box trucks. Like,
okay.
Are they 3500s or whatever?
Were they like almost like a U-Haul truck?
Yeah.
A
U-Haul, small U-Haul, had to roll up in the back.
Yep.
And I mean, I could carry, I had everything.
Did they did you have access from the cab or no? You had to go out back? Okay.
Go around. But,
which is not bad sometimes because it's kind of safer that way. Stuff ain't flying and hitting you.
Right.
It's it's tough. Everybody's situation is so much different.
Yeah.
Tanner says place for half price, I think is what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Says, yeah, Rusty Iowa is much better, but seemed to work really good. The other truck had one for years. Oh, that's cool. The deck servicer. My truck was used for deer season and had about 15 dead deer. And he says last week and needs sprayed out tomorrow. Rusty, I understand that. I actually the deer wasn't making a mess too much of mine, but I realized as I was in the garage, I was thinking, I am smelling this weird smell. What is this? And it finally dawned on me. The bed needs to be sprayed out. You don't see nothing, but it's got a little bit of a stink to her there. I had a customer call me out for searching. What is this called? Searching sound. Three companies came in and said we needed lube, and I came in and within seconds said top was it hinge was grinding on the horizontal. His jaw dropped. Yeah, something simple. There's all technicians are all different. You know what I mean? There's good ones, there's bad ones. Some people don't care. Some people want the money. If you can go in there and take care of the customer and possibly get a review out of it and you don't charge them, that's cool too. If it's close enough, you can spin it however you want to. What you got on there? You digging out something, Mr. Tony?
Oh, I was just looking. My toolbox that's underneath my F-150. It's a Deckard.
Is it?
Yeah, I just pulled up.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty slick. They are nice. They are really nice.
I see them advertised. So Tanner spent what 800? Do you remember what yours cost by any chance? Brand new, probably 12 or something.
I didn't buy mine new. I got Marketplace off the old dude. It's like brand new.
Gotcha.
That's the only reason I bought. I think I got mine for like $4.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in really. I mean, I got every toolbox, and it was
no problems. No, it doesn't freeze up on you or anything.
Oh no, they're perfect. No, well, see, I have a cap over the back of my truck.
Oh, okay.
I have a cap with 2 double doors that you can go crawl into, and yeah,
nice.
That way, I got to go to the bathroom or anything. Like that video, the bucket.
I wasn't going to bring it up. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was a good video.
That was. Maybe I'll edit that in a video sometime to show people. That was a good one.
Yeah, like that.
Oh man.
If we were cracking up that we were busting a gut. The ring, what do you call that? Like the
premier or professional? The professional.
Yeah.
Mars says after doing it for a while, you can diagnose each sound immediately. I agree. I always figured you could blindfold me and I could probably tell you quite a bit what was wrong with the door.
I've learned too that listen to the customer. They'll tell you. They'll tell you what's wrong with it. That's the problem my old boss had. He thought he knew it all, and I made him look bad.
What did you ever figure out? Was it? Remember that roller you were going around about? What was it? Was it twisted or what was it that you? How'd you fix that?
The one that I made that video, the brand new door.
Yeah.
The track. The track was just slightly turned just a little bit.
That's right.
So I just all I had to do was loosen the nuts. I didn't even have to. I just loosened it, shifted a little bit.
That's all it took. I'll be darned.
Went away. I was like,
I'll be darned.
The slightest. I mean, you wouldn't have thought. I got one for you though.
Go for it.
Like a little trick. You know how you get these cans and they're full, but there's nothing left in them. You're like,
right.
Dang it. You know they're not junk, right? You can refill those, right?
I don't know. I'm waiting for the secret sauce here.
Right here.
Oh, nice.
See that? Nice. Air tool.
Sure.
You take that and it works. It works. You take it. Let me see if I can get the can here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Where's the camera? Okay.
There, you're
You
in
got.
it.
Oh, I took the cap off.
Sure.
You just take this, line it up,
Oh,
put
nice.
air in it, and all it takes is a matter of a second. Get it lined up.
Sure.
And your air compressor, I put about 80 pounds. I just went boosh,
Right.
and then put the lid back on.
I'll be darned.
And I thought, I wonder
Darn.
if it works. It
Heck
shot
yeah. That's a good idea.
garage. It shot all the way across my garage.
No way.
Holy shit. Yeah, it worked. So don't throw them away.
Right. Right.
Add air. Put
That's
air in.
good.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you guys that. I thought that was cool.
That is a good idea.
So
That
buy
is a
you
real good idea.
just a little with the rubber valve stem, the stem on.
Nice. Yeah, no, that works out real good.
It does. It works.
Let's see.
That's all I got.
Oh, that's good. I'm just reading. I'm going through a few of the comments here. Being owner, Rusty's got being owner operator makes the extra money feel better on weekend calls.
Oh yeah.
Gotta love the weekends. Spend Peter, holy cow. Peter's got, it says, you feeling okay, Dave? I think so. I'm feeling pretty good. You know, it's a little getting closer to night time, but I'm good. How you feeling, Tony?
I'm feeling good. I'm
Yeah.
still putting down my Coke.
I know. I got to take a sipper once in a while too. Let's see. Tanner's got DeWalt is on, or DeWalt is or has just came out with what's this called? The hydraulic impact. Okay. They got to get you something for Christmas. You know, they got to get you to spend your money somehow. I can't say that one. Is it Coach Chen? He says 2019 GMC Sierra. Ooh, not bad. Not bad. It's a good solid vehicle.
Yeah.
We only have NV 3500. He says 3 and it says 2025 Ford E350, the KUV. That's what I was trying to think. Thanks for bringing that up. The KUV is what I like. I like those cutaway vans, man. I love when I got that, it was so much room in those things, but they're pricey.
Is that the like back octagon?
Yep.
Okay.
But you get it got a huge platform on the back for where you step into it. The compartment's open. I loved it because on the sides they drop down little gates. They're like little tailgates. So you just pull up, especially if you're working on a gate operator or whatever. It just, man, they work so nice. So much room in them.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, so much room. I had a sliding door in mine. So, you know, a lot of guys complain about vans because they complain they don't heat up. And I could shut that. I could heat it up real quick in there, but I could open it, go back there and take care of business if I had to too. Or, Northwest Indiana, that was Mar. I think Tony read that. Cheers, everyone. Rocking it. Sky. That's right, Sky. Mars got, by the way, Dave, you're moving through the comments one by one instead of watching the live feed. What am I? It's not sure if you're aware. He says Tony seems like he's on the live feed. Yeah, he probably is. Tony jumped ahead. Shame on Tony.
My bad.
You're fired. Gotta get Dave to 5K subs. There you go. That's what 2 says.
Well, I just figured out over here at the side.
Yeah.
I can see the comments, and then it highlights every time you click on one. It highlights where you're at.
Oh.
I just don't know who is talking.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Tanner's guy, he goes, Meetabo. He's trying to tell me how to spell it out. Meetabo. Love it. I need that help. Eric's here. Holy cow, we got Eric Freeze. Good evening, Eric's. Glad you're here. Hope you're doing good.
Hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Like your video, by the way, Eric.
Yeah. Mar, he says, what's this one? Is this Rich? This is Rich. Mar, I don't know. We're just got, what's he put on? Rich, what were you doing when you were gone for an hour? What'd you get? He must have got the good stuff. Eric's got, he says,
he's over by you, Rich. It sounds like he's taking your business.
There you go, man. Son of a gun. I don't know. I don't know. Rich does pretty good service. He's fair price, man. He's got his own world.
That's
Eric's, yeah, I know. That's good. Um, Eric says, he said they limit us to 3 deer per person. So if we even find deer around that this year, yeah, deer population is kind of all messed up, it seems like. 2, he said, I love the KUV body on the van, dude. I'm telling you.
mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, if you're going big dog stuff, especially if you're like service, and I think the only thing I had a problem with the KUV or the cutaway vans is I feel like I'd like to try a dually because I don't know if they're not supposed to haul, but I ended up putting a hitch on mine. It was the members were there. It just didn't have the part that stuck out. So I had the welder guy do it. And what I noticed is they feel a little light in the front end. That was the only thing I didn't like with the scissor lift. So I'd like to try a dually to see if it just helps plane it out a little bit. But man,
what was the name of that person there you just read?
For the KUV, I love the KUV bodies.
Yeah.
Is it I don't know, I can't say it. Tanner have to tell me how to spell this one too. Is it nut too?
Okay. I see nut, but I couldn't I'm like, are my glasses this small?
That's why I call them. I just call them 2. Keep it fair because I'm murdering it. So I just call them 2.
2. Okay.
I've seen him. I know him before. I've seen him because I know his icon there with the games in the background. He's always had that. He's been around for a while.
Okay.
He's a good dude. Rich B's guys, those duckers are like $1,300 new.
Oh.
Dang.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys have been, oh yeah, Rich had to bring up Rich B, right? The bucket. Yeah, and he got a laughing face.
That's right. My
Just
wife, we were
what did we have? We got to bring the guys up to speed a little bit, right? Where there's a video out there. I don't even know. Rich can probably put what it's called. There's like the beginners, there's like the more experienced, and there's like advanced of how you use your bucket in your vehicle. It's a very funny clip.
Good. One had the pool noodle around it.
Yep.
One had a baggie in it so you can catch it. My wife busted up, and I'm thinking, man, that's a great idea.
Right. Well, that's the reason.
Never do that.
That's the reason I bought a fan, man, because I was in that van that one time. I was dying.
Well, that kind of reminds me. We were out. I used to work on an oil field when I was in Texas. I used to build chemical, and my buddy that got me the job, I had to go to the bathroom, and he says, "Oh, you're over there at such and such ranch." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Just pull up by that building right there." And he says, "Get out." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't see a door on there." He goes, "No, go around to the back of the truck." I walked around the back of the truck, said, "See the bumper? Grab a hold of it." I said, "What?" I'll never forget. I've never pooped outside like that before in my life.
Have you ever seen there is one, they got it where it goes in your receiver and it's actually a toilet lid.
Oh yeah, I did.
I seen that. I was like, that's pretty good. It's like, I might want one of those.
Yeah, because I did the old huddle on the bumper.
Yep. You start, it feels like you start getting age on you and stuff, your legs start shaking. You just hold steady, baby. Come on. Just a few more minutes. Oh man. Oh man.
Bucket, damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh shoot.
Let's see. He says it's crazy how many door sections you can fit in a Ranger with a 8-foot bed. Oh man, you can do a lot. I tell you what, like I said, I work out of that small truck, and you just make things fit, man. You just have to be more organized and more selective. And it's not ideal, obviously, if you're going out and doing service and commercial and all that, but for residential, you can make it work.
You can haul 13 square of siding on a Ford Ranger too.
Ooh,
It's
nice.
squatted, but you could do it.
Right.
Those Ford Rangers, they can do anything.
So Rich, I think is making. He says, mute it too. He says that's how I was supposed to say it. Uh, he says I learned a lot from you guys. That's cool. That's two saying that. That's good. I'm glad you're here. Like I said, if you got anything, put it in the comments. We always love it. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
He says, and Instagram from all the door and dock guys around the world. Ooh, Instagrammy. What's don't forget to date it. Oh, is that? Yeah. I think he's talking about, Rich is talking about that bucket.
Oh, yeah. That part was great. Label it, put it in the shop. Do not.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Eric Scott, he says, pro tip. He says we use multiple buckets. Oh, got to keep, man. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how important it is to carry a 5-gallon bucket on your truck. Just for garbage you got to use a code red.
Yeah.
I tell you what, man, I was struggling because there was a time, I don't know if anybody else seen it, but there was a lady that I think it was UPS or it was FedEx. And she was, at the end of a cul-de-sac, she went on the side of her vehicle and she used the bathroom, and they were just all making kinds of fun of her on the news. And I kid you not, it was like 2, 3, 4 days later. It was when, the COVID was going on. And guess what happened to me? It hit me and it was so bad. I thought I was going to soil my pants. And I thought, I'll be damned if I crap in my driver's seat. And I was thinking about that person. I'm going to pull over in somebody's driveway or on the road and I'm dropping a trowel.
That was the worst. COVID. No bathrooms. You couldn't go anywhere.
No, you couldn't do nothing. So
Yeah.
I was learning very soon that when I was going through town, I was looking for all the porta johns and all the construction places. So I knew, because I used even a lot of, I think they still had, some of them were open, some of the public, like the parks. So those I could get into once in a while too, but whew, man, that was bad. Oh, Rusty's guy, he says it's bumper dumper. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but it's kind of, it's probably what you were doing, Tony. Bumper dumper. What's Rich got here? It's called, is it truck Tiris? Tiris? I don't know what that is. That's what the thing was called, or what? When you're taking a crap.
Yeah.
Eric Scotty says, I've had to poo in the woods a few times during camping. I'll tell you, because we're catching up here a little bit, at least in the comments. So I had a guy one time. I remember, when I had quite a few guys working under me, and I come back to the shop and I realized one of the workers was gone in his truck and everything, and I came in, and it's an old secretary, but her name was Kelly. And I said, Kelly, I said, I'm Junior. I'll just say, where'd Junior go? She goes, oh, he went home. And I said, well, why? And he was kind of new. He was kind of still a greenhorn. And she goes, well, I guess he ended up there working at that one job, and there was a cornfield, and he was working with one of the other guys. And he said something about, he said, I got to go, man. And so he ran out into the cornfield. Well, I guess he came back. The one guy was still working on the garage door. He says, well, you feel better? He goes, not really. He goes, I didn't make it. He goes, what do you mean you didn't make it? He said, I didn't make it. Oh, man. He goes, so I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh. He goes, don't worry, boss. He goes, I put cardboard down on the seat. I said, oh, thank you. I said, thank you. And so he goes, he just came, and he says he didn't clock out or nothing. He says he just went in his truck and he left. And I said, I don't.
Oh, he froze. Dave, you froze out. I don't know if Dave froze. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Can anybody comment if you can hear me? I think Dave froze up. Whoa, you can hear me, huh? Whoa, Dave went out. Let's see here. Find out where was he. Okay, pooped in the woods. Here. What am I drinking? Coke. Oh, straight up Coca-Cola. It's my fave. Let's see here. That would be Tanner. Make one that goes into the hedge. Yeah. Oh, it has a shower style. Yeah, it wraps around. Yeah, that would be nice. I didn't freeze him. Yeah. Look, big dog. Ah, oh, why do I have this ship? Why'd you leave? What happened? I don't know what to talk about. I was listening. What do you guys want to talk about? Kind of sucks. Well, guys, I don't know. Let's see. Let me check this out here. There we go. On stage. Yeah. Okay, hang on a minute. Go for it, Tony. Oh, Dave's on the comments now. Great. Uh-oh, what just happened? I don't know what to talk about. Dead on my end. Oh, his phone must have died. Oh, bummer. What do you want to talk about? You gotta give me something to talk about. Let me think here a minute. I'm gonna look at the comments, read some of this, see if I can get on something here. I don't want to talk about poop anymore. So what you guys got going on tomorrow? He took my channel. It better be in my truck. Daggone it. I need it tomorrow. It don't matter. I got a couple of them. Say I got to go. I got to do a couple springs. I've been working on this job. I put in two operators, two 10-foot operators. I think they were 87, 85. I can't remember. Draw bar. It's the I bar. He needs a bigger screen. Well, I can't read all the print here. Let me see if I can get caught back up. Schedule. Tomorrow I have two spring. I just have one spring job to do, and it's really finishing up a project I've been on all week. It was kind of like a filler job. Two openers and 2 springs, 2 bottom seals. My scissor lift's been there pretty much all week. I've been so busy doing other jobs that I wasn't able to get to that. It was just kind of a filler. Worked on it a couple hours a day. And it was so freaking cold last week here. I finally got it. And it was the one, Rusty, you had asked me if I was going to put a strut on the top. Yeah, I got the strut on there on that 9 by 12 or 10, whatever it was. Let's see here. Bigger screen. How would I get a bigger screen? Tanner's birthday. A happy birthday, Tanner. Let me see where I left off. Right there. How much did you pay for the seal tool? $200. That was what, that monkey something. Only bad thing was I couldn't use that on this door because the bottom brackets had that lip underneath. So I actually had to pull the whole retainer out. It was kind of a project. But that was $200, and I bought that from Denko. I can't remember the name of it. Monkey something. I'm out to, I guess I turn 33 tomorrow. Oh, 33. Damn, Tanner, you're a young pup. I've got kids older than you. I think that's Tanner. Yep, that's Tanner. Let's see. I'm sure I have a full day installing, and my family will want me home at normal person time. What time is that, Tanner? Normal person time. Guess I have a good week. Stay warm. All right, night, Tanner. You have a good week. Be safe. Let's see, who's this? See, I can't even see who's saying this. That might be Dave. He needs a bigger screen. Oh, and birthday. Let's see. Oh shit, where'd it go? This is great. Yeah, for you, not for me. Read those comments. Happy birthday, Mr. T. That's from Dave. Tony, do you keep estimates or an amount of time? Call back after. See if they. No. Let me read that again, Tony D. No, I don't. I don't call. Mm-mm. I don't follow up on, like, if somebody had me give an estimate. No, I don't. I don't follow up. I just assume they had somebody else do it. I can't afford no tablet. Come on now. I'm just a garage door guy. We don't make all that money, all that kind of money. Not the 405. Maybe one of these days I'll get up there to that 405. So what you got going on? Now there's Rusty. Dave. I'm sure Dave follows up. I'm sure he does a follow up. Let's see. keep estimates or amount time. Yeah, no. I don't. I think I don't waste my time. Yep, and it's the donkey weenus. Yes, that is true. And that's, I think, Rich B. Yeah, it works good, and it don't work on every door, but it does work when you can use it. It will help you. I think it's worth the $200. I probably won't buy more than one, but hit or miss. Yeah, it is hit or miss. It'd have been nice to use it. It was bad putting that seal on. What day was that? Friday? I think it was Friday I did that. I had made the mistake and sprayed some WD-40 on the retainer, and it was so cold out, it all froze up. So I had to pull the retainer off, stick the retainer in the van, turn the van on, warmed it up, and I was able to sit in the van and work it all in there. It was a pain in the butt. 404. Let's see. Tony, do you raise your price yearly for inflation? I plan to go up from 404 this coming year. Probably start tomorrow. Um, you know, it's kind of no. I'm probably not going to raise. I don't know. It's that's a hard question around here. I mean, I'm competing against so many other people that it's hard to raise prices around here. It's I can't even get $350 for 2 springs. So I can get 300. So no, I'll probably keep my prices the same. You know, if I don't know, I get it when I can get it. How about that? Okay, let's see who's this Rusty. But I will wait for January 6th because then I will be able to see it in the next year profit and losses. Yeah. Oh, gosh, now it's moving. January 6th. I think that's Dave. You did good, Tony. I owe you another good. Rich B. I bring a hairdryer. Ah, good idea. That it was aluminum retainer, and I worked that thing on there. I was probably only 10 inches from getting it to the end, and I could not, no matter what I did. So I had to stick it in the vehicle to warm it up. It was that freaking cold Friday. It was terrible. I hate doing seal in the winter. It's the worst time to do seal. It's when everybody wants to do seal, but it's the worst time to do it. My personal opinion. What do you guys think? Is that hair dryer? How well does the hair dryer work? Does it keep up? Well, guys, it's 2 hours and almost 30 minutes. Let's see, Dave's going to keep me going here. How do you keep the bottom seals from freezing to the ground? How do I? I use petroleum jelly. I use Vaseline. That's what I tell my customers. I've actually had a customer tell me that she would clean it and wipe it with WD-40. Don't know if that works, but I do know that petroleum jelly does. But that also transfers to the floor. You have to be careful when you're walking through that point. What do you guys use? Anybody got any good ideas? I heard a commercial the other day with Precision. The guy said they use Pam, that spray Pam. That's what he said. I don't know if it works. Let's see. We've got some comments here. Bottom seals from pre up. Shoot. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Winner. Yes, it works pretty good. I just. What's that? I don't know what I mean. Dave. Oh, damn. Every time somebody comments, it moves it. Let's see. Dave, I recommend winter windshield washer fluid. And that works. What do you do? Just spray that on or wipe it on? How's that work, Rusty? Do you spray it on the ground or what is it? Just asking. Works in between. Oh, sections too. That's a good idea. I actually, I've got a door that I just put in the shop that's been sitting out. I think it's froze together. It's a brand new door. I was lazy and didn't get it in. It rained on us, and then I think it froze up. I got to put that in this week sometime. Let's see. Seen some comments. What I do, like, what do you guys do for lubrication between the sections? When you're getting a creaking noise or a popping noise, how do you get rid of a popping noise when your panel, like somebody hit the door and now it's, when it comes down, it's, catching and it slides over and makes that pop? What do you guys do for that? I just kick it or tell them wait for summer. Thought I heard something. Sorry. What do you mean, Dave? You just kick. What are you kicking? Oh, if it's froze to the floor or what? Run into it. Well, you're talking on straighten it back up. What I do the same thing. I put my shoulder into it, but normally you can take, let's just say they hit the bottom panel. How would that be? And the bottom panel is out farther than the top panel. What I do is I go along and uh, I put washers behind the hinge on the second panel. That'll bring that forward. And then I also take candle and I run it in between the seams. Put the candle wax in there. That works as a lubricant. So that'll slide over that. You don't get the popping anymore. But the shoulder works, getting it in there, getting it straight, and then I finish it off with, I put washers in the top of the hinge. Let's see here. Works between sections. Oh, for bottom seal. So you kick it to break it loose, I'm assuming. All right, guys. I'm running out of stuff. I wish Dave wouldn't have died on us. He's got a lot more wind than I do. Just messing with you, Dave. Rich me. Oh boy. Here we go. We got some text coming in now. I don't know if I could leave. Let's see what's Rusty got here. Dave, I'm serious. Customers have to look at me before, but it works. Try it. It's a 3-inch door. And hurt myself once. I've had to put my shoulder in it and bend it back. I try not to do it in front of the customer though. A 3-inch door, that would be tough. I'd have probably pulled my truck up and just kind of pushed it forward. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night. Well, thanks for showing up to Dave's live that he ended me with. Left me high and dry. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy. It's locked up. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to head out. Thanks for being here tonight. If you can, hit the like and subscribe for Dave. If you want, you can go over to my channel and hit the subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. That's the software on the computer. Oh, gotcha. I'm just messing with you, Dave. Wish you wouldn't have left, though. Oh, you're going to bed. Oh, there was a wife that called you over. Oh, okay. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys. I'm going to head on out. Like Dave says, keep your fingers. Since he's not here, I'll use his. Keep your fingers. And Papa Tony out.